From Minamo School on the plain of Kamigawa, it's Tap Tap Concede.
Welcome to our second episode.
Welcome.
Talking to Magic about magic. Wait,
Talking
that's
to
not right.
magic?
That's not right at all. Why? I don't know.
Ruined it
All
already.
right, wait, one
No.
more time.
No.
Welcome to our second
Hey,
episode.
Gatecrash, how's it going?
Welcome to Talking to Magic.
Yeah, I'm talking
This
to it
week,
right now.
James interviews
A box of magic cards.
fat pack of magic
So,
cards.
tell me about your
I don't
life.
think fat packs like being called
Really?
fat. I think they're chubby packs.
Chubby packs. I
Big
think
bone
I would
pack?
rather just be called
Big-
a fat pack than chubby pack.
It says fat pack right there.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
just a little weighty pack.
Just, you know.
I can diet anytime I want pack.
Freshman 15 pack.
It's thick.
Yeah.
Thick. Anyway, so hey, welcome to our second Tap Tap Concede. We haven't settled on a sort of a fourth podcast or additional podcast or whatever, and we were talking about what we wanted to record this week, and we hadn't put up
Well, in fairness, we kind of did settle on a podcast. We're not going to tell you what it is.
Yeah.
But we also couldn't make it happen today.
yeah.
So
We decided that we had plenty to talk about magic-wise, and we'd do a second Tap Tap Concede. Help us get into the groove of this a little bit.
Yay.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about our experiences at the Gatecrash pre-release.
Yep.
James and I are going to bust into our fat packs a little bit, I think. We have another entertaining crack-a-pack for you. And, oh yes, and we've got follow-ups of,
Name my deck.
yes, of the name your deck and some card designs that you guys came up with for the
Yep.
for the Baneful Woodfink.
Do you have more
Magic?
magic
Yeah.
trivia for James?
It's a full show.
I had forgotten about that, but I'm formulating some as we speak. Oh
Sweet.
no, James said he was going to do some.
Ah, crap.
It's okay. I'll take care of it. So
So I think we start off with a crack pack.
oh yeah, of course.
So,
So this is from I should have checked. Hang
wait,
on.
we're going to figure out who it's from.
I'm going to figure out who this is from because this was our first donated crack-a-pack, which is why we are doing this one first.
Yeah, somebody was like, "Hey, can we send you old packs of magic cards?"
And
we're
we
like,
said,
yes.
hell yes.
Sure. Why
of
not?
course.
If you want to do that, shoot us an email.
Mm.
Really, any of us, and we'll send you the address, and you can send us cards if you want.
Mhm.
Sealed packs, though, for the crack-a-pack.
Yeah, you can just give us a
If
chunk
you
of,
want to send us your collections like so many people have, then, again, email us, please. We'll
But-
let you know.
but probably don't.
we have so many.
Yeah, we don't just random magic cards. We probably don't need.
Send them to Alex.
Yeah.
Alex is
Give them
rebuilding
to
his
your
card
friends
collection.
and get them into magic cards. That's the trick, right? Is that when that's how you get your people into magic? Is you're like, hey, you can have my cards.
Here. The first one's always free.
Yeah, exactly.
That's also a good trick if you're a new magic player. Just go around anybody in your area who plays magic and be like, hey, do you have any cards I could have? And
They will.
almost
Yeah.
everybody
Oh,
will
yeah.
be like, here, take all these cards.
Yeah, the thing is, though, you have to be careful. Like, if you're, like, a straggler to your group of friends and a lot of other people play magic, you'll end up in a situation like our friends Dave and Missy, and they're like, we're taking up magic. And, like probably, like, 6 people gave them boxes of, like, 1,000 cards, and we gave them, like, probably 400 or 500, and they're like, no more magic cards! We have too many magic cards in our house.
That's fine. They've moved on to phase 2 of magic,
Which is
Yeah.
giving
having-
away.
Which
having
is,
too many
God,
cards.
I have too many.
and
So,
now they will give the cards to somebody else.
were you able to figure out who this was from?
No, and I can't find the email, which I'm really sad about. So I apologize. We'll make sure to give you a shout out
Wait, is the envelope still here in the
next
office?
time. No,
Yeah,
it's
no,
not.
it would have been thrown out.
All
All
right.
right. This is a gentleman from Prince Rupert, which is in the very north, not the very north, but northern
Northern BC.
Northern BC.
of the province where we live. And he was like, hey guys, do you have Fallen Empires down where you are? And I think we used to, but our local card shop that had the really, really old packs sold out. But they had a bunch up there, so he sent us a pair of Fallen Empires boosters.
And why is it important that it's a pair of Fallen Empires boosters?
Well, because they only have 8 cards.
What the hell, really?
Yeah. I want to see
All
if...
right.
Ooh. In the southern oceans of Dominia Prime lay a continent
Isn't
of...
it Domineria?
I know it. That's why I was startled, because it definitely says Dominia Prime.
Yes, it does.
In the southern oceans of Dominia Prime lay a continent of great kingdoms, far from the war between Urza and Mishra. The lands of Sarpedia
Definitely supposed to
prospered.
be Dominaria.
Yeah. But as the climate changed, resources dwindled and empires crumbled. Hideous new species arose in the forest and seas, forcing the Sarpadians to fight for their very survival. Recruit these toughened warriors and vicious predators for your duels, but beware lest you fare no better than the fallen empires.
Nice.
Whoa!
I am
Now, I believe
I'm excited.
there are no good cards in this set.
I believe you're correct.
So isn't leeches in this set? Is that
think
that's
so.
from Fallen Empires?
Oh
isn't
wow,
it?
these you can open these weird. I'm just sort of like
Yeah, it's a little odd.
I'm
That's
like
the-
separating them right down the spine.
So
The card that breaks poison.
these are old.
I think the first card that I've seen in this pack is like the best card in the whole set.
Sweet.
Do
Okay.
they?
All right. So how do we want to do this?
Do the cards feel different than newer cards?
They do.
They do very
They
much
feel
so.
much more like cardboard.
I wonder if they're
Oh,
actually
yeah.
made out of different stuff.
There's no like there's no
What's the
there's no
copyright date
there's
on
no
that
semi
pack?
gloss.
1994.
I wonder if they.
This is one of the very first expansions.
Well, we might have people listening to this podcast who are younger than those cards.
Yep.
Wow, look at the old Wizards of the Coast logo.
Yeah, I know it's ugly.
They may not have those cards. May not even have the like the plastic in between the layers. They may not be laminated.
They're
in the same
definitely
way.
like a fully matte finish.
Yeah. All right. So how do we want to do this?
Just alternate.
alternate. All right. My first card is the Icatian Scout. It casts for 1 white. It's a 1/1, and for 1 and tap, 1 colorless and tap, target creature gains first strike until the end of turn.
I do like Ications. I run Ication Town in my black white tokens commander deck because it makes citizen tokens.
Mm-hmm.
This is-
Dude, so Ication showed up other than just Fallen Empires?
I think it might be from Fallen Empires actually.
Oh, really?
Possibly.
That's actually some pretty cool art.
Yeah.
A little early Richard Kane Ferguson there. So 1 tap with the old tap symbol. Target creature gains first strike. That doesn't
oh, yeah.
that
Old
doesn't,
tap symbol.
doesn't seem like the worst.
All right. You.
Hymn to Turak.
Oh, all right.
Oh, that's a sweet
Hymn to
card.
Turak's actually still worth a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that might be the only one from Fallen Empires that is. Oh, that's find the one we have specifically is that one.
Oh, that
Yeah.
one sucks.
One wolf moon.
It is one wolf moon.
Yeah.
The wolf is actually
Oh.
just the moon.
Sorry. So
The wolf's name is Torak.
to fill you in, it's a sorcery. It counts for black. Casts for black. Target player discards 2 cards at random from his or her hand. If target player does not have enough cards, his or her entire hand is discarded. They don't usually mention that part anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is still really relevant. It's in the Magic Online cube actually, because random discard is really scary.
Oh, it's the
And
worst.
discarding 2 cards just for 2 black mana, that's
Pretty good.
nice.
In fact, they basically don't do random discard anymore because it was considered to be not fun for the
No
person
kidding.
being hit by it.
All right. Next up, another Ication. Ication Infantry. This guy casts for 1 white. He's a 1/1 as well. And for 1 colorless, it bans until end of turn. Or for 1
No.
colorless, it has first strike until end of turn.
That's much better.
That is the incorrect art.
This is when they did alternate art for each common
Click on
because they were if you click on the
I see variation.
all sets.
or that
That one.
that's the one.
That's the current one.
Oh, I totally have this one.
So early in
Yeah, like
Magic's
my
history, they
cards.
decided that because the commons were common, they should do different art for each, for all the commons, so that there was more variety.
Yeah.
Mm.
But it turns out that people really need the art to tell the cards just
Yeah,
as a quick
exactly.
shorthand,
Well,
and it
it's-
gets confusing.
Is it like you look at that, like the picture of this guy
Mm-hmm.
and the picture of these guys,
They're not even similar.
like from the same set. Like, why would you think that that was the same card?
Yeah.
What are the other 2 variations? Because each of these commons has 4 different variations. So there's those
That.
guys.
And then there's
That guy.
Oh,
that guy.
I remember that guy.
Yeah, I remember that
totally,
guy. Like-
I totally would have thought that was a different card.
Yeah, like at least they like I could see doing like 4 different views of the same guys,
Mm-hmm.
but having just 4 completely different pieces. Like I mean this is also probably before they really had locked down
On
the
a lot of
different-
things.
Like it feels like they just basically got a ton of art and then were like, sure, this guy's the infantry. Like
Yeah.
they did, I feel like the artists probably didn't get a lot of guidelines as to what they were supposed to look like because they probably didn't even know.
I would like to point out right now that my pack has no green or black in it.
My pack has no red or blue.
Interesting.
All right. So my next one is another Acacian. It's the Acacian Money Changer. So he is a 0/2 for 1 white. He deals 3 damage to you when summoned. And at that... Sorry, I'm going to read this as the original text is. Money Changer deals 3 damage to you when summoned. Put 3 credit counters on Money Changer at that time. During your upkeep, put 1 credit counter on Money Changer. For 0 mana, and sacrifice Money Changer to gain 1 life for each credit counter on it. Use this ability only during your upkeep.
The Oracle text is almost exactly the same. Actually.
So he takes 3 life from you, and then you keep him around. Every turn you can put another... You can basically charge him interest for that 3 life, and then you can kill him and get all your life back.
All right, let's
you
see
know-
the other variations
you know
in the
it's-
art here.
This is the one you've got?
Yeah.
With Benjamin Franklin on it?
Apparently, yeah. Ugh.
That
Sure.
guy.
For those listening, do go looking this up.
Yeah.
You should definitely look at these arts.
Arts.
The
All right.
the watercolors are probably not the right. You know a card's gonna be good when the text they have to switch to that smaller font size.
Oh yeah, the best
Like
ones.
I like reading stuff about cards these days. Like you read stuff on like the Daily MTG about the card design, and now if they find that they are trying to fit too much text onto a card, they take text off the card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll actually be like, okay, he's not going to get this power because there's too much text on the card.
It's too difficult to explain.
They don't just switch to a smaller font.
I miss those days. All
You
right.
can't even you can't actually read that on Gather at all.
No.
Well, not from here.
because of the because of the background.
So those watching the video probably can't read that very well.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
So
well.
my next card,
Yep.
Hummerid.
Oh, Hummerid.
Hummerid casts for 2 and a blue.
I had a Hummerid.
He's a 2/2. Put a tide counter on Hummerid when it is brought into play
He's a
and
lobster.
during your upkeep. If there is 1 tide counter on Hummerid, it gets -1/-1.
They're
if there
lobster
are
men.
if there are
That's
3
the-
tide
that's-
counters on
That's
it,
the one you got.
it gets +1/+1. And when there are 4 tide counters on Hummerid, remove them all. What in the hell?
Oh, I see. So the
Oh, he's-
tide
oh, he-
washes in.
Don't
and
be
it gets
mistaken.
more-
He's terrible.
Yeah,
the tide
he
washes
is-
in and he gets more powerful, and then it washes out. And it goes
Let's just
away.
move right
yeah,
on
move along.
to the Initiates of the Ebon Hand.
Ooh.
1/1 for 1 black. I remember these guys as well.
Yeah.
For 1, add a black to your mana pool. Play this ability as an interrupt, which is what they
These
called.
guys were actually reprinted in 5th edition.
They had interrupts and instants back in the day. Now they're the same thing. So you can pay 1 to add a black to your mana pool as an instant. If more than 3 is spent in 1 turn, then you have to sacrifice the Initiates of the Ebon Hand.
It's not actually. It's just add 1 to your mana pool because now mana sources are their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was before that all mana sources were also interrupts, but now it's just their mana sources. So.
Yeah. All right.
Next.
Moving along, we have another
Also-
Ication.
Way better
Good.
art for that.
Oh yeah, way better art.
Oh, so many Ications.
Yep. So another Ication, another 1 white 1/1 Ication. This one is the Ication Priest, which for 1 white, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
This guy was totally reprinted. Which one do you?
That's the one right there.
Who is this guy that did all this weird watercolor art?
That would be Drew Tucker.
I like Drew Tucker's art. It's just not quite right
It's
for
not-
Magic.
Yeah,
cards.
it looked kind of neat, but yeah, it's so. Yeah, it's.
It doesn't help with
it
the
doesn't
old
have
style
any-
card borders too.
and it doesn't have any definition to it. Like it's.
There's a lot of 1/1.
It's so impressionistic.
Yeah, a lot of
guys.
1/1 for 1 guys.
All right. I got our first green card
Yeah,
here.
1/1 for 1 wasn't so bad back then.
I have the Elven Fortress. It is an enchantment that casts for a single green.
Wow, this is a weenie set.
Yeah.
Everything's so
And
cheap.
for 1 and a green, target blocking creature gets +0/+1 until end of turn.
It's not that one.
The size of the obvious forest walls often misled foes.
Yep.
Actually, the elves enchanted the forest itself to provide the first line of defense with tangling vines and stinging thorns.
Oh, it's a really long.
Long flavor text.
All right,
Yeah.
I have a card here.
I would
that-
imagine like today that flavor text would just read, "The elves enchanted the forest to provide the first line of defense."
Probably.
Yeah.
I have a card here that was reprinted very, very recently.
Really?
Very recently.
Woo!
It is Goblin Grenade.
Oh, Goblin Grenade is sick.
Oh,
For
wow.
1 red mana, you may sacrifice a goblin to have Goblin Grenade deal 5 damage to 1 target.
That seems so good for this set.
Yeah.
Grenade's
Printed
great.
in M12.
Yep.
That's probably not.
I like the so
Is that the
this
art? That
yeah
is the
so
correct
this
art.
version of the art, which you can see if you're watching, is a dwarf, I believe, handing a goblin a grenade.
Yes.
Which well, you can see from the flavor text. I don't suppose we could teach them to throw the cursed things.
Yeah.
Asks the goblin. Whereas when this was reprinted in M12,
Oh, you mean the dwarf?
yeah, when this was reprinted in M12, it's actually the art is actually like a goblin with a fuse flying through the air. It's much more sort of like
a
that's
goblin grenade.
yeah, a goblin grenade rather than just a goblin
All right,
holding
here's
a
an
grenade.
interesting flavor thing. Urva Jur's daughter is this name of this dwarf who's handing this goblin.
Or not
Gr-
probably. I guess that could be a lady
Here's-
dwarf. They have beards
yeah,
too.
because
That's the goblin grenade I remember. Is
That's
the,
other
the,
art also from Fallen Empires.
The one with the green. This is probably the one that most people. Oh, and then that one as well. There's a lot of different goblin grenade arts that I
Anyhow.
recognize.
Yeah.
if you know anything about Icelandic people, Icelandic people, their last names, like Russian people, change based on the names of their parents. So, like, if my name was, or if my dad's name was, say, Dave, which it is, and I was like Icelandic, I would be Dave's daughter. Or if I was a boy, I'd be Dave's son, Davemanson, basically.
So this is Jur's daughter.
Jur's daughter. This is like, that is a lady on this card.
Yep,
Mhm.
lady
So-
dwarf.
That's pretty, I think that's pretty neat.
I have a thrall. Everyone likes thralls. It is a neckrite.
I looked up what magic
Oh,
thralls
Necrite?
do the other day.
Mm-hmm. That is 2/2 for 1 black. If Neckrite attacks and is not blocked, you may sacrifice it to destroy a creature controlled by the player Neckrite attack this turn. If you do,
That seems very good.
Neckrite deals no combat damage. That seems pretty great. Oh god. So the one kind of art for Neckrite, the one we have up on screen right now, the one of the guy licking the knife.
Mm.
If you, I'm sure that everyone listening, even if you can't see it right now, you remember the art of the Neckrite licking the knife.
I remember that when I
Because
was a
that
kid. Yeah, it was like
Disturbed me greatly when I was a child.
It's like,
Thankfully, this
"Ugh."
one is just like a weird, bright red aliens-looking creature, which is
So, like-
totally weird looking.
again, is that same guy, David?
Yep.
The weird watercolor
Yeah,
one.
it's like that. It's kind of a neat picture, not useful at all for illustrating this
Yeah.
card. Like,
Mine's a weird.
There
that
it is.
Looks like
again,
looks like Predator.
how is that
The same thing as
representing the same thing as that?
Oh, the guy licking the knife.
Anyhow,
All right.
James,
Moving on. Title flats.
Oh.
I like 1-drops, apparently. For 1 blue, you get an enchantment. And it is for 2 blue. All your creatures that are blocking any non-flying creatures gain first strike until end of turn. The attacking player may pay 1 for each attacking creature to prevent title flats from giving that creature's blockers first strike. Good God. No. Bad.
Whereas I have a thorn thallid.
Yay!
Yay,
So
fungus.
fun to say.
I know, thorn thallid. It is a 2/2 for 1 green. Summon fungus. During your upkeep, you put a spore counter on him, and you remove 3 spore counters from him to have it deal 1 damage to any target, because direct damaging green.
Mm-hmm. Is that the picture you got?
Not that it matters, but no, I have the Jesper Mjorfir's art, the one of the weird, like, that guy.
That's the one.
Oh yeah, this guy. I actually totally had this guy in my green deck. I remember when I was a kid.
All right.
Because because direct damage is direct damage.
I have another
Sometimes you gotta
1-drop.
do it.
Orcish Captain. For 1 red, you get a 1/1. And for 1 colorless, choose a target orc. Flip a coin. Opponent calls heads or tails while coin is in the air.
oh, I hate coin
If
flip
the
cards.
flip ends up in your favor, that orc gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Otherwise, that orc gets -0/-2 until end of turn.
I'm glad that orcs are such a relevant tribe.
Good
Yeah.
God.
What? That's like a goblin ability.
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, orcs
Like-
and goblins were pretty similar early
But
on.
usually this would be, like now this would be, that happens except you have. It's like he is an orc, but you choose a goblin to do that too because he's like in charge of the goblins.
Yeah. I have another fungus. I have a Thallid Devourer. It is also a 2/2 for 1 green. And during your upkeep, you put a spore counter on Thallid Devourer. And you remove 3 spore counters to put a 1/1 Saproling into play. And then you sacrifice a Saproling to give Thalid Devourer +1/+2 until end of turn.
Oh my god, that's so much work.
Well, if you've got another way to get Saprolings, though, like Saprolings are actually a tribe that still exists and still do stuff.
So he's actually kind of relevant. Man. We should. Someone should make a fungus commander deck.
Sweet.
A mold mander deck.
A mold mander
deck.
A mush mander deck. Mushroom mander.
Salad.
Mush mander. I love it.
All right, so what is this? Mercine? This card
What?
seems bad. Is that how you would say that? Merseine.
I guess.
Mercine. I'm going to say Mercine. For 2 blue, you get a creature enchantment. Put 3 net counters on Mercine when it is brought into play. Target creature Mercine enchants does not untap as normal during its controller's untap phase as long as any net counters remain. As a fast effect, target creature's controller may pay creature's casting costs to remove a net counter.
Was a fast effect?
Yeah.
What the hell's a fast effect?
I assume instant.
I've
What does it say now?
I've never
Yeah,
heard
it doesn't
that.
say anything, so that means it's instant.
You can just do it whenever.
Yeah.
So it's just like if you enchant something like this, it means like at any point he could pay 3. He could pay that mana. Is it the mana?
Yeah.
He could at any point he could pay the 3 mana cost on like this creature, let's say,
And otherwise, it's a paralyzing grasp.
until the counters run. Like the counters, the only way to get rid of counters is to pay the mana cost. Correct?
Yeah.
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 So he basically has to pay 3 more times to get his creature back.
Ugh.
Then
It's not
you're
that
probably
bad,
just not
actually.
gonna do that.
That seems fine.
Like
That
that's
seems not
almost
bad,
like an
yeah.
unsummon
It's kind of
because you got to pay for it again, right?
And the last one I have is Soul Exchange. It's a
Ooh.
sorcery for black.
I'm trying to make spooky noises because that sounds like a spooky card.
So you exile a creature you control, or as it says here, sacrifice a creature but remove it from the game instead of putting it in your graveyard.
Because exile didn't exist.
Yeah, and then you take a creature from your graveyard and put it directly into play as though it were just summoned, and put a +2/+2 counter on this creature if the creature sacrificed it was a thrall.
Poor thralls.
So if you
That sounds pretty good, actually.
So if we can sack this dumb Neckrite to get back our
This is the problem.
money
What do you-
changer,
What
I
do
don't
you
know.
want back?
Okay, we'll get back our Thorn Thalid, and he'll be a 4/4 Thorn Thalid.
Thorn Thalid.
It'll be a Thorn Thalid. Because we sacrificed a thrall.
I
So
looked up what thralls are in Magic because I was interested in them
because they're back in Gatecrash.
because they're back in Gatecrash, and I was like, what the hell is a thrall? I mean, they're ridiculous. Like, they look ridiculous in Gatecrash. Like, they're really well designed. I love their face masks and stuff. And thralls are a variety of things, but Gatecrash thralls, which will transition us nicely into talk about Gatecrash,
It will.
are made by the Orzhov, from dead flesh, usually donated by other Orzhov people if they are leaving their bodies to become spirits. And so there you go. So basically the Orzhov recycle the bodies of their members into thralls, which then they use and abuse for their own pleasure. If you read the flavor text of some of the thrall cards, it's quite awful.
Thralls always struck me as basically being like a creature designed specifically to be sacrificed.
Yeah, they use
Like
them for
they're-
sacrifice or for running errands or for putting in in harm's way for their own amusement.
You there, Thrall. Go out, get me coffee, come back and kill yourself.
So if those 2 packs
Yeah.
were 1 pack,
Yeah.
what's the first pick?
Him to
Him
Turak.
to Turak.
Him to Turak, yeah.
Yeah.
If those 2 packs were 2 packs, like that
Uh,
was in Graham's pack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they were separate packs, him to Turek and Graham's pack, and
I'd take the Neckrite in your pack, James.
Neckrite was my pack also.
Oh.
Thorn Thalid was yours too.
Goblin Grenade?
Probably Mercine.
yeah, either Mercine, Goblin Grenade, and that's about it.
Yeah, Goblin
You had a
Grenade's
lot of
hard to first pick,
Ications.
though.
I had 3.
You had the Scout, the Infantry, and the Priest, and
Yeah.
they all suck.
and they all are terrible.
Wow.
And then the Homerid, which is terrible. The Captain, which is terrible. Yeah, my pack was pretty much
Yeah.
garbage.
Thank you very much to the person whose name I wish I remembered who sent us these packs. This was really neat, actually, to go all the way back to Fallen Empires. So, what are you looking up, Paul?
Just
Are you trying to look up all the Ications? Or
Goblins for Fallen Empires.
you're
Yeah.
looking-
Oh
So
God,
the-
I would
there's
not.
two.
I would not pick a Goblin
so
Grenade.
Goblin Grenade is in Fallen. This is the problem they had a lot in these early sets.
well, they weren't designed to be drafted. Also,
No.
Goblin Grenade is in Fallen Empires, there are 2 other goblins in
Oh,
Fallen
wow.
Empires.
One of whom is rare.
One of whom is,
Okay.
well,
I changed my
uncommon,
pick.
which is, I mean, the weird thing about Fallen Empires is there wasn't any rare. I thought, oh no, maybe there were. I thought these sets only had commons and uncommons, but some of the uncommons were rare or uncommon.
I think, and then they've
Maybe.
just been sort of retconned as rares. Who knows? I don't know. All right. Well,
And so yeah, you could either get this this rare Goblin Flotilla or Goblin Shaman who's a 0/2.
Wow. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much for that. That was a lot of fun.
that was awesome. So yeah, if anybody else out there wants to send us old packs for us to crack on the podcast, just email james@loadingreadyrun.com and I will instruct you as to where to send them.
Oh man, check out this surgeon guy. He's like building. a new dude.
Whoa.
He's got like a Llanowar elf head.
Oh, is that the Goblin Clergyman?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's alternate art of him, one of them like sewing with that's the one I had with the guy sawing the guy's leg off.
Yeah.
Goblin,
Gross.
The Goblin Surgeon.
Hilarious. All right, so pre-release weekend.
Speaking of much more fun with goblins,
Speaking of Gatecrash,
I had a lot more fun with goblins at the Gatecrash pre-release because I had a Legion Loyalist in my, in my pool.
There aren't that many goblins in Gatecrash, are there?
No, very few.
Hey, Graham.
Yeah.
So if you had a Legion Loyalist, what guild did you go with?
I went with Boros. I did end up going back to my original plan, and I went, screw it, I'm a bit Boros.
How did that work out for you?
Pretty okay, actually. I ended up 3-2. We did a 5-round Swiss, and I ended up going 3-2. Both matches that I lost were to players playing Gruul, which was by far the least picked guild
Really?
out of any of them. They had
Yes.
stacks of Gruul boxes left over afterwards.
Huh.
But Boros has trouble with Gruul. The problem is that Gruul can get guys down quickly that have
Too big, too fast.
large butts. And as the thing is with Boros and the battalion, you want to build up a mass of small guys. And boy, did I have that. I had like endless 2-drops in this deck. I had 2 Syndic of Tithes, the Extort Bear, which I got some extra value off of. I had 3 Wojak Halberdiers, which are 3/2.
Whoa, Jack.
Wojak.
Those
Whoa.
guys are sweet.
Yeah, they're 3/2 for a red and a white. And if you trigger battalion, which is if you attack with them and 2 other guys.
These guys are in Gather now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. If you attack, so the way that the battalion thing works, we talked about it last time, but if you attack with that creature and 2 other creatures, then the battalion trigger goes off and something happens. And in the case of the Wojak Halberdiers, they gain first strike until end of turn. So I had those guys. I had 2 the 2 Syndic of Tithe, like I said. I had 2 Bomber Corps, which those are 1/2 for 1 and a red. And whenever they get battalion, they deal 1 damage to, or whenever they attack with battalion, they deal 1 damage to target creature or player. And I had, God, what were the rest of my 2-drops? I had so many of them. But the thing is, they're all very small guys, and you need to keep up a critical mass of guys, or else their battalion doesn't trigger, and then they're just sort of lame.
Yeah.
And then your
Like-
power never goes really above
Yeah.
2 and 3s.
Like this guy, the Bomber Corps, he's a 1/2. That's pretty bad. His battalion trigger is incredibly useful, especially since I had 2 of them. And when I got battalion off both of them, I could just kill someone's 2-drop.
And that fires before the combat actually happens.
Guys. Yeah, exactly. So they can't even block. But, we get up to turn 5, and I've got like 3 guys out there.
And they have 3
maybe-
slightly bigger guys.
Maybe, no, doesn't even matter. I've got like 3 or 4 guys. Maybe I've been getting in for 1 or 2 damage, and then they resolve a Zerta Swine, which is a 5/4.
Put madcap skills on it.
It doesn't even matter. Like a Zertos Swine is a 5/4 for 3 red-green.
How do you spell that, Grin?
ZHUR, I think. I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Nettle Swine in Avison Restored was Big Pig. This guy is Bigger Pig.
Biggest pig.
Biggest pig. And he just sits there, and it's like...
Well, we don't know. Maybe there'll be something in Dragon's Maze that's a bigger pig.
And so the problem is that then me as Boros, I'm in a situation where I can't attack because I've got a bunch of little guys. Like I've got my Legion Loyalists and I got my Bomber Corps, my Wojak Halberdiers. None of them are going to be able to kill this guy. I don't have any direct damage. I didn't get the Angelic Edict, so I didn't have any like straight removal. This guy's too big for a mugging, which deals 2 damage and the creature can't block.
So like
I've only got...
So now, like every time you try to attack with battalion, you'll lose at least one of your guys.
Yeah, I'll lose a guy, and then I have less guys, and then battalion is harder to trigger, and he's cracking back with this 5-4, and you get put in a really rough spot. Now, Kathleen mentioned madcap skills. Pretty good in sealed, I feel. Marshall's not convinced. Our friend Marshall from Limited Resources,
No, such a
who
blow up.
writes the limited information column on Daily MTG, he's not totally convinced. He thinks there's enough removal in this set that madcap's skills might end up being a trap in draft.
And
But
maybe
I
in
tell you
draft.
what, for the stuff that we saw on that day, I was against the other Gruul player I lost to. I was building up my forces. I was getting in like 1 or 2 damage, and then on turn 5 he cast Disciple of the Old Ways and Ember Beast, which is a 2/2. It's a 2/2 for 2. It's basically bears the Disciple of the Old Ways that has an activated ability for 1 red. You can give it first strike. And an Ember Beast, which is actually a reprint from Odyssey, I believe. That it's a 3/4, but it can't attack or block by itself. It's the same thing as the Mog Flunkies in M13.
Right.
Mog Flunkies have been printed before that, but most recently you might remember that ability from Mog Flunkies. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, so he's got a 2/2 and he's got a 3/4. Next turn he can swing in for 5. I have mugging in my hand, so I could just do 2 damage and kill the Disciple right now, but I've only got 5 mana. I think I'd rather keep developing my board, so I cast Night Watch, which is a sorcery for 5 that you get 2/2 Vigilance. Nice. It's K.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's Night Watch. Yeah. Night Watch, by the way, is really, really good. I like Night Watch a lot. It helps Battalion a lot. It helps the white Denizen because you get 2 triggers off white creatures entering the battlefield, and you can tap down 2 of their guys. So I'm like, all right, I'll just do Night Watch. He untaps and just goes madcap skills on one creature, madcap skills on the other creature, swing. So madcap skills, as you just saw, it's a creature enchantment for 1 and a red, and it gives the creature +3/+0, and they can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. So he's got a 5/2 with possible activation of first strike, because now he's got he's got more mana up, and he's got a 6/4. And so my options are chump, just chump and lose both my guys. Put both my guys in front of the Ember Beast and trade off and take 5, but then I've lost both my guys and my whole turn, and I don't have any creatures to attack back with. Put them both in front, put 1 or both of them in front of the Disciple, but then he just activates first strike. Or take 11.
Well, and you can't put 1 in front of the Disciple either.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to block with both.
Yeah, but I
wipe
mean,
my board or take 11.
I mean, that's gonna be like he had 2 of them. Like that's a pretty unusual circumstance.
Oh, I know.
Madcap's
I
Like
know.
that's gonna
I'm
be
just-
bad regardless of what enchantment.
Oh, I'm
that was
not
gonna
talking
be.
about the quality of madcap skills as a whole. I'm just describing my personal experience with it.
But
my personal experience with madcap skills was it is very powerful when you have situations like Boros where you really don't want to block with 2 creatures because you don't want to lose your 2 small creatures because you need your battalion triggers, or you are trying to play a defensive deck where you might chump or take a little bit of damage or just have a guy bounce off your big Orzhov butt thing, right? Like it's really, really bad for those kind of decks.
It's I saw it used actually in the there's the guy the 2 mana guy who pays you back the 2 mana. It's like a 2 mana 2/2.
Yeah.
Who pays
Oh yeah,
you back.
she's sick.
So you go turn 2, that guy and madcap skills on him. Turn 3, crack in for 5.
Yep. So in that game, I untapped, mugged the Disciple, attacked back, kept doing what I could, and ended up losing that game. And the thing is, the reason Gruul was a problem is against Simic could be a problem. Like the Croconura is really bad to deal with against Boros. That's the 1/3 with reach and evolve. So they play
Simic
basically
was fine as long
any
as you
other
let them get
creature.
going.
I'm talking about my experience with it with Boros. This guy was really hard to get past, but in general,
He's a crocodile frog.
Simic had small enough creatures initially that I was able to destroy or get past them. and the Dimir or Orzhov creatures weren't putting a huge amount of pressure on me to the same extent that the Gruul creatures were, because they were much bigger, and I was able to still get past them. And when I fought another Boros guy, it was just a race, and I just had better draws and better cards and outplayed him, and it worked out fine. I managed to win the Boros mirror in 2, but man, Gruul was just a real bad matchup for me.
Gruul, well, I actually probably should not speak to anything that I was supposed to be doing, because I got a pretty, I went Dimir, because they're my favorite guild, and I got, I would say, a mediocre pool. I had a lot of Gruul cards in my pool, but not really enough to make a deck.
And the Consuming Aberration, which is the Dimir promo card you get, is really good.
The problem being, the problem with my pool is it was very, I had a lot of red and a lot of green and a lot of white, but no mana fixing. The only mana fixing I pulled was 2 Dimir Guild Gates. So it was very, very difficult for me to run anything unless it had complementary colors, right? So I was like, okay, I have a few Orzhov cards I can put in, splash white. I've got an Angelic Edict, and I got some things. So I've just basically made a super defensive mill deck. I forced mill, basically, because I pulled a Mind Grind.
You're playing Dimir. That's what you wanted to do.
Well, that's what I wanted to do.
Mind Grind is disgusting.
I ignored all of my Cypher spells because they were bad and too expensive, and I didn't pull the one that is sort of supposed to be the best, which is the do 3 damage to you. I really didn't. I don't think there was any situation where the Cypher cards really would have helped my deck do what it wanted to do. But just sort of sat back behind some larger Orzhov big butt creatures and used my. I got a couple of those unblockable, only blocked by rogues. Dudes, the
Death Cult Rogue.
Yeah, the Death Cult Rogues, which are great for drawing out removal, because people are like, oh god, he's unblockable, I'm gonna kill that guy. I'm like, great,
He's unblockable, and she probably has Cypher.
Great. All I want to do is actually just play those guys with a Sage's Street Denizen, or whatever it is, the blue Denizen, and get the mill triggers off them. So that was fine.
The problem you encountered is that those guys and the Cypher cards and everything make you want to attack. But there's so much Dimir stuff that has mill abilities that you want to sit back, and so you're even if you did end up with a lot of Dimir cards, you have 2 win conditions that are fighting each other.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just went with the mill because Sage's Row Denizen, and then you cast that Consuming Aberration is a fantastic combo, especially if you have 2 Sage's Row Denizens, which I pulled, which helped me push me towards the mill. And I was like, I've got some good mill pieces here, because obviously that's a blue creature coming in, and so I was able to get 4 activation, I was able to make the mill 4, which automatically bumps its toughness by 4.
How big did your Consuming Aberration get?
The biggest I got it was, I think, 16.
That was in the game between us in the last round.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
that seems strong.
I won some games by milling people out. I did not win a match by milling people out until round 5 when I beat James, because he was playing a super defensive Orzhov deck. And so just neither of our decks were putting pressure on one another, and mine sort of had the inevitability.
Yeah, because Mind Grind was insane. That's the Dimir X spell.
Oh, so good.
And it's
so good.
The what they call sort of like the grind ability is from the old Magic card Grindstone, which is that you mill until you hit a land.
No. Is it?
Isn't that Grindstone?
I don't know what Grindstone
I think I heard someone else say that. I could be wrong. Let's double check. What's Grindstone do?
No. Grindstone is just a millstone, but...
Okay. Well, they were originally going to call the Dimir ability Grind, and that was originally going to be the Dimir ability. To mill off until you hit a land. And Mind Grind is X blue-black, and you do that for X times. So it's you mill until you hit a land, then you mill until you hit a second land, then you mill until you hit a third land, where that number is X, which is really powerful.
And obviously, by the time you get to cast that for I would say good value, you've got 5 or 6 lands on the table. Your opponent probably has 5 or 6 lands on the table, and it's very easy to mill them out. I did, however, lose spectacularly one game, having built up sort of a good defensive position, and going to just mill them out and hitting 5 lands in a row.
Ooh, so
Which-
you hit mind grind for X = 5 and then just land.
He had 7 land on the table. Go for 5, which is the max I could pay. I was like, well, he might have 1 in his hand. Like, this could get most of his deck,
Yeah.
right? Or at least it'll mill off most of, like, a lot of good stuff.
Well, because you're in a good position with that because everything. This is something important to remember is that your opponent's graveyard is open information. You can ask to take a look at it and just be like, hey, can I just see your graveyard? And so you can sit there and be like, all right, my opponent has 10 land in play and they've got 3 in the graveyard. Typically you play 17 land in a draft deck, maybe 18 if they're trying to splash weird colors. So it's likely that they only have 4 land left in their entire deck. Maybe they even have 1 in their hand if they've been sort of sandbagging one.
So if you do it for 5, he's dead regardless.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's important to know that you can use that information when you're doing stuff like that because the graveyard is open.
So, but the problem is, so like in that circumstance where you got 5 land, all you ended up doing is perfectly thinning out his deck, so
Yeah.
he wouldn't have to draw land for the next 5 turns.
Then amazingly, he got this incredible run of like perfect pulls. I think I did get all the rest of the land out of his deck for him, and like he was always drawing creatures and spells, and I eventually just like couldn't.
I mean, that's the thing they talk about with Mill, right? It's because Mill makes absolutely no difference to the game
Yeah.
until you beat them with it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you may occasionally mill off something good that he had, but you will just as often mill out something that he didn't want.
Yeah. Because
That-
it's random.
Yeah, so it is random. So there's no chance. There's no better chance of you milling off something good than milling off something bad. But once you actually mill off the last card, then you win.
That
So-
Consuming Aberration is also a really good combo because whenever you cast any spell, that player then your opponent then grinds, which is awesome.
I was thinking Grindstone, while it's a different mechanic, if they're playing a monocolored deck, basically works out to the same mechanic. If they're playing a monocolored deck, then the only place where they would stop is if they had hit a land.
Right.
So maybe that's sort of where the name comes from.
The taking into account how random the deck is something I really had to get over when drafting an Innistrad block, when milling myself. And I still don't like milling myself, even though I
No.
know that it's
It's part of the reason
It's
why
like-
I still don't like playing black. Like I still don't like taking damage for things,
yeah.
even though it's a totally viable strategy.
I don't mind that. Like I've gotten over that, but like because in Innistrad, if you had flashback cards in your deck, it was better to mill yourself because if you got one of those flashback cards in the graveyard, that was just like having it in your hand because you could cast it from there. And
Like in actual fact, like with the combination of flashback cards and the what are they called, the scabs that you needed to exile stuff from your graveyard in order to do. There's basically no circumstance in Innistrad where it was better to mill the other guy. Like,
Yeah.
it was always better to mill yourself.
yeah,
I think you could
But-
put.
yeah. Well, it's just what I'm saying is that, but when you have that thing where you mill yourself because it's the right thing to do, and you mill off the card that you needed, or just a card that is really powerful, or you mill off your bomb that you can't actually get back, you know, it feels bad.
That's why I like milling
it
other
feels
people.
really wrong. No, I know. But what I'm saying is what you have to tell yourself in that situation is that like it's random, right? You had just as much chance to mill off, like if you mill 4 and you mill off 4 really good cards that you would have wanted, and you're like, oh, this is why I never mill myself. You had just as much chance to mill off 4 land that you didn't need, and so you need to take that into account when you're milling your opponent, that you have just as much chance to hit them for 5 land as you do for 15 reasonable cards.
Oh, I know. I'm not really I was upset more like just at like the statistical impossibility of that. I was annoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can be annoyed about it. That's
I was
fine.
like, aw, like I wasn't like.
But
I'm
the
not
trick
telling
is-
you not to. I would be super
But the
annoyed.
trick is knowing. Yeah, the trick is knowing that, you know, you still did the right move, even though you lost. You know,
Yeah,
even
that's
though
what
you
I'm
did,
trying to-
even though it ended up being wrong. You know, ended up being
Yeah.
a bad move.
Oh no! If
It
that
was
hadn't
still
gone
it was
well,
still tactically correct.
if
Yeah.
that hadn't gone well, I would have won that game.
Yeah, so that's what I'm just trying to express to anyone listening who's like, oh, you know, like mill. You know, it's like, no, that was still, you know, you may have hit 5 land and that sucks, but milling them, like trying to grind them for 5 was still the correct course of action.
I like in the limited resources set reviews, martial art. They always have a couple of cards that is like, this is a bad card. Do not play this card. You will also lose some games to this card. That doesn't make it a good card.
Yeah.
Occasionally, someone will win a game against it, but it is, or win a game with it, but it is still not a good card.
Speaking of cards that win you games, some of the Orzhov cards look really powerful. James, how was playing Orzhov?
It was okay. It was boring. It's
Really?
not my kind of game.
No?
No, it's slow and grindy. I don't like that.
Because you're like black-white is kind of your colors.
Sort of. I mean, like, yeah, like I had no real allegiance to any guild, but I was like, I'll go Orzhov because I've always liked the black-white combo, but it's just slow and grindy and not really my style of play. That being said, I mean, there's some good cards there. I didn't have any of them, but I'm sure they're around.
But you also suffered from poor pool.
Good cards exist.
Yeah, it wasn't very.
So
like,
I've been told.
I was definitely short on extort guys. I got none of the extort bears, which was kind of a beating. I had 2 of the kingpin flyers or whatever they're called.
The Kingpin's pet.
The pet, yeah.
Really good.
Great card. I had 2 of them. I had 2 of the wraths, which was useful but not great.
Like Kingpin's pet. I just want to, for listeners, is the 1 blue black for
one
white black. I'm sorry, 1 white black for a 2/2 flyer with extort.
Yeah.
I had one of those and was very happy to splash for it.
Yeah, it was a great
And
card.
that's a throw, by the way.
Yeah. 2 of the big wraths. What's it called?
Oh, the sorceries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did that a couple times.
Merciless something.
Yeah, when you were playing me, and I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
The one that looks kind of like Damnation.
Yeah.
With the big black sun.
I
sort
can't
of thing.
remember what it's called though. That's annoying. There it is. The
Merciless Eviction.
Yeah.
So what's that do?
It's choose one. You get to exile all artifacts, or what's there?
Or exile all artifacts, exile all creatures, exile all enchantments, or exile all planeswalkers.
Right.
You can choose one of those.
And it's a sorcery that casts for 4.
6. Yeah, 4 and a white and a black.
Yeah.
I imagine Merciless Eviction just like a fat guy in like a wife beater who's like your landlord and be like, all right, out of here. I don't want your kind around here anymore. You haven't paid your rent in 3 days.
But
Yeah.
I lost my job and
I have no mercy. This is an eviction.
Nice.
Get out of here.
Yeah. When you were playing that against me, I thought about countering it, but for the most part, wiping both our boards was better for me because I was just trying to stall for time. I was
Yeah,
like,
like the first round I lost against Double Clan Defiance. There wasn't much
I was going to talk about that card.
I don't like that card so much.
Oh my god.
I don't
no,
know.
just Clan Defiance.
No, yeah, as in he had to. I don't know if
Double claim.
I don't want to say
Defiance.
I would have won if it hadn't have been those cards, but it definitely tilted the game in his favor when it was just like in both games it was Clan Defiance for 7 and then next turn Clan Defiance for 8. And I was just like, ugh, okay. And then in the next game, he did that again, but he only had to do it once, and I was just dead. He went for like 8 again.
I didn't know about this card before it happened because I didn't see much of the full spoiler, and this wasn't in the set review, obviously, because it was
it's a rare.
Because it's a rare, but it's X red green, and it's you deal X damage to target creature with flying, X damage to target creature without flying, or X damage to target player. And you choose one of those, or all of them.
Yeah, it's.
I had to read that like 3 times when he was like, "All right, because my entire board, he was like, I kill your Griffin, I kill that guy, and I do 4 to you." And I'm like, "What? Sorry, can I read that?" And it's like, choose one or more.
Yeah. So
it's whatever you want.
Like in previous sets, that would have been like, one red and double X.
Yeah.
In order to do that, like in order to do. In order to make an X card that hits multiple targets like that, it would normally be double X.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, okay, so it's
that's nasty.
In my opinion, I would rather go up against something like a Clan Defiance rather than a Bonfire, for instance. You know, this is in my opinion, more fair version of Bonfire. Bonfire is just insane, right? I mean, that card is the bombiest of bombs.
Well, I mean, it's when you miracle it, of course.
Even when you don't miracle it, though, like you can still pretty much destroy things for like 5 gets 2 damage to everything, which is pretty good. You know, 7 hits 3 damage, which is also very good. So I would rather go up against Clan Defiance, but it was still a bit of a blowout. In the second round, I beat out Simic. In the third round, I had it, and he had exactly the right card that he needed. He needed to jump his guy, and he did, and I lost because of it. Fourth round, what happened? I don't remember the fourth round that much, actually. I seem to recall punting, but I can't remember what I did.
You're playing against Demir. They mess with your head.
No, I played against Amir in that last game against Kathleen. I can't remember what happened in round 4. That's weird. But Clan Defiance, man, that card sucks. I want to open it now.
And by sucks, you mean it's awesome.
And by sucks, I mean I want to cast it. I don't want it cast against myself. But no, I mean, like, it was fun. Like, it was a fun day. Like, I was having fun regardless of win or lose. You guys might know Adam.
Oh yeah,
Adam is my go-to for winning packs at pre-releases because he enjoys to come to the pre-release, but he doesn't collect the cards at all. And I currently pay for his WoW subscription. So the way it works out is basically he just he'll pay for the pre-release and I'll get anything he gets basically. So I'll get his seal pool and his winnings, and that's sort of him paying me back. So this go around he actually went 401.
Wow, nice.
He split first place. So that got him 16 packs or something like that.
Adam
consistently does very well at pre-releases.
He only plays the pre-releases, and the thing is, he always seems to open really, really good pools, but he's also just really good. But he only plays pre-releases.
Well, he drafts online.
Does
he? Yeah, he plays
didn't know
Miko. Yeah, like he does now. Like before a couple years ago when we first got back into it and he was playing during the pre-releases, he wasn't. But he's been drafting on Miko the last probably
I don't think I've ever seen
6
him
to 8 months.
It's like I don't want to take anything away from Adam because but he does he does get some really good pulls because I remember the M12.
Well, the first one he ever went to, he got Gideon and Frost Titan.
And Frost Titan at the M12 pre-release.
Yeah, and just smashed face.
Yeah, and he won and walked out of there with a huge stack of packs. And we were like, oh man, sick pool. But he's walked out of every pre-release since then with a huge stack of packs. And it's like,
regardless. And I mean, his pool this week was not.
It was not amazing.
It was not that good. He just put together.
He did have 3 madcap skills.
Yes, he did. Although he wasn't running all 3 until about halfway through. But yeah, he managed to basically take down the tournament, and he actually won. Like he would have gotten first place if he had not split because they played it out, and he won that match.
Oh wow!
So he would have actually went 5-0. Bastard cost me like 3 packs. Dick. Jesus.
The guy in the last round offered to split with me, because if the winner lose on ours, because we were both
2-2.
No, we were both 3-1.
Oh, 3. Okay, yeah.
And so it would have been 12 for the winner, 6 for the loser. But if we split, we both get 9.
Yeah.
But I was like, I so rarely get to play.
That's why you split and then
Let's
play.
just play. I know I should have just split and then played, but
See, the problem with split and play is then you win and you kind of feel bad. You're like, damn, I shouldn't have split.
Yeah.
But the loser is like,
didn't feel
God,
bad.
I'm glad I split because
it's the same sort of thing as deciding to mulligan and then looking at the top card of your deck.
no, I never do that.
I have now stopped myself
Yeah,
from
you
doing
don't do
that,
that.
but it's the same sort of thing. It's like, no, I've made this decision. I believe it to be the right decision.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't
Yeah, you don't
second guess
yourself.
myself.
Yeah.
So I think it's either like split and be like, that's
Yeah.
it, we're done, or you play for real.
Yep.
At least that's
I don't know.
that's me.
For our last game, James was my last opponent of the day. And we agreed to split, but then we played it out
Split our
anyhow.
one
Alright.
card.
We got
1 pack each.
there was 2 packs on the line. I was I was happy.
Yeah, you walked away with 1 pack.
I did not mind at all.
So
Whatever, who cares? I still got to play. 1 pack is better than no packs.
it's true.
So I have a Magic trivia.
All right, let's
so
go.
this is the thing. I was like, ooh, that's a great idea for Magic trivia. I'll see if there's any place online I can find this information.
All right.
This was literally posted to the Magic Arcana on Daily MTG like a week and a half ago.
All right.
Okay. Who is the most prolific artist in Magic history? I'll give you a half point for anyone in the top 10.
Oh God, I'm this.
I
Can you?
only know one artist.
Yeah, I'm not good with artists, Kathleen. I'm gonna divert this question to you.
Oh no!
I really don't pay attention to the artists, generally speaking. I have no
I
idea.
am not in favor of this redirect. I don't like running that spell at the best of times. There's not John Avon, although he's pretty prolific.
But he is in the half, or he is in the top 10. So you get a half point.
All right.
Is it Zoltan Boros?
No. Although he is the most prolific artist. Fun fact about Gatecrash.
Yes, I knew that.
Yeah, Zoltan Boros is the most prolific artist in Gatecrash. He illustrated the Boros charm. I'm pretty sure the Boros Guild is named after him,
Can we
actually.
call it the Zoltan charm?
All right, I'm going to guess
That would be dumb.
that Therese Nielsen is one of the most prolific because she's been doing it for so long.
No, she's, I think, number 12.
No,
1,
so
2,
close.
3, 4,
I,
5, 6, 7.
I actually read her blog. She's got because she does all stuff for Tor, right?
Yeah.
And so she has all sorts of interesting stuff about the sci-fi fantasy publishing world that she writes about. I didn't actually realize she was an artist until fairly recently.
So John Avon has illustrated 280 cards.
Wow.
He's number 3.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, how many has number 1?
So number 2 is 295.
So he doesn't have a huge lead.
15 more.
And I'm guessing number 1 has a huge jump over all of those.
Yes.
Yeah.
So number 2 is Pete Ventners.
Okay.
Sorry, Venters. Number 1 with 342.
Wow.
So
That's
nearly 50 more than the person in second
Yeah.
place.
And that's like more than a whole set.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a big set.
Well, I have no.
that's more than a big set.
I have no damn idea. So
let me go through some of.
Yeah.
yeah, name some cards.
Let's see.
I just putting him up here would ruin it.
Yeah.
I can't read the artist.
He's
so.
illustrated Assassinate, Assault Strobe, Battleflight Eagle, Bladewing the Risen, Bonebreaker Giant.
I know many of these things.
I know all these cards. I know none of.
I know
none of
his.
this.
He does.
Oh, you guys. Bump in the Night. He illustrated Bump in the Night.
crap! I really should know that.
Is his name like John something?
Nope.
No, well, I don't know.
You already guessed John.
Crap! I've even said this guy's name because
Clone,
we talked about like getting in contact with this person
Copper Mirror,
to get the original
All right,
art.
everybody ready?
Damnation
All right, what is it? Throw it up.
is Mr. Kev
Walker.
Kev Walker.
Yeah, I really wanted to try to get a hold of this guy and
Boom.
try to get the original art for Bump in the Night.
Yeah.
I think that would go
Oh,
up.
he illustrated Doorkeeper.
Nice. I like
I wonder
Doorkeeper.
if he
Who
illustrated
introduced
Totally
to
Lost as
Totally
well. I don't know. Let me
Oh
find out.
God, Paul, what are you doing?
Have always hated crows.
Ah.
Wait.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Oh, Kev Walker.
Kev Walker.
Yay! I was never gonna get that in a million years. How many cards has Jason Chan illustrated? He's my favorite Magic illustrator.
He's really good. Oh man, Upheaval, Typhoid Rats, Tandem Lookout. Jeez, Kev Walker puts in work.
All right.
I bet I can recognize. He's got a very distinctive way of doing goblins, right? Like he does a lot of the goblin cards,
I think so. Yeah.
the sort of little body, big head goblins.
All right.
Dick
We should
Doom
move on.
Goblin.
Jason Chan is not on this list. This list is only the top.
Jason Chan's only been doing it for the
This
past
goes down
couple
to
years,
Nils
though.
Ham, who's directed 100, or directed, who's illustrated 100.
Is Phil Foglio on there?
No, he hasn't done more than 100.
Yeah, his aren't the most prolific, but they're the most recognizable.
Yeah.
And Phil Foglio.
Yeah.
Nobody told him how the cards were supposed to look.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, James, our favorite artist, isn't on this list either.
No, he's only done
Like
60-ish.
No, you said he'd done like 80, but only 60 would have been playable in one commander deck.
It
James
wasn't
is-
even that.
James was thinking about
I still kind of want to do this.
putting together a Raymond Swanland commander deck.
Yeah, a artist-specific
I don't
commander
like his
deck.
art. It's so pointy.
I love it.
It's super good.
I
But
love it.
I
And
don't
and he happens to draw a lot of cards that you actually want to play too.
yeah,
He does cool cards.
He does a lot of cool cards. I made the list public. I'll put it in the show notes, and by that I mean on the blog, or not on the blog, in the forum.
the forum.
thread.
Yeah.
And you give you access to the list. But it's I can't remember who the commander was. Who did that?
It was
pick?
either Kresh or Thraxamundar.
no, there was a couple options though. There was more than one, or
Real
more
quick.
than two.
Sorry, Paul, could you go out to that computer out there and share that Google Doc with everyone? Because I realized that Kathleen's logged in on that computer and I made that Google Doc with her. Sorry, we have some things to do from last time. So last time that we did Magic Trivia, I asked James to... I gave James a list of 8 creatures and asked him to name the one that was not a real magic creature. And the answer was Baneful Woodfink, was one that I had made up. And some people in the forums have come up with their ideas for what the Baneful Woodfink card would actually be, and so we're going to talk about those. By the way, I asked Cam and Alex the same question.
Yep.
And they both immediately said Baneful Woodfink.
Yeah, apparently they have the skills.
Yeah, they got the trivias.
Well, this is not you ask Cam and Alex questions. This is you ask James questions.
That's
Yeah,
true.
screw those guys. Also, it was Crash because it's a gen deck. I don't remember that.
What's his name? Crash?
Crash. K-R-E.
All right, so
S-H.
Jack Slack's Baneful Woodfink. There's 4 of them. Casts for 1 blue-green.
Wait, that's not right. No.
Not
That's-
Crash the Bloodblade?
Is there different art?
alt
No,
art.
there's alt art. That's why it's
The other
not
one.
the from the vaults.
It's the original.
There it is.
That's Crash.
Yeah.
And now you
That's
know
better,
what. Now
actually.
you know what Raymond Swanland's art looks like.
Yes.
Big time.
Pointy.
It is very pointy.
Yeah. So, Jack Slack's Baneful Woodfink casts for 1, a blue, and a green, and it is a 1/3 elf informant. And you tap to look at target opponent's hand. That opponent may then pay 1. If they do, sacrifice Baneful Woodfink.
I like that because then you can, once they're tapped out, you can be like,
I like the
He was trying to give it a sort of a prophecy, other like opponent has to pay something feel.
yeah, like as a cycle, I think that would be quite interesting. Like guys that can do stuff. It's like a guy who has a really powerful ability, but if the other guy has any mana open, he can like kill him. If he like your ability still goes off, but he'll die. So you have to like wait till he doesn't have I think that's kind of an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
I like that.
I also like that everyone gave us flavor text too. The flavor text for that guy is it's dangerous work, but the pay is excellent. Capol's suggestion, Baneful Woodfink casts for a blue and a green. I'm sorry, Jack Slacks is 1 black green. It's 1 a black and a green. We were discussing this over breakfast, and we felt that Baneful Woodfink does sound like a black-green creature. Capol's, on the other hand, casts for a blue and a green, and it is a human rouge.
Sweet. I like rouges.
I think he meant rogue. So it's a 1/2 with Death Touch. When Baneful Woodfink deals combat damage to a player, look at that player's hand. Be careful around the Woodfinks. A simple handshake will reveal your deepest secrets.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that.
Flavor text included.
That's a.
I like that. How much does he cast for though?
2.
2. And he's a 1/2 death touch,
Yeah.
and you get to look at the player's hand.
If he deals damage to
he'd
the
have
player.
to be some sort of like he'd have like that's awesome, but he'd have to cost 1 more or be like a mythic rare.
Not a mythic, but I could see a rare because it's one of those things where it's like you never want to block, like as we know from Return to Ravnica with like the Thrill Kill Assassin, you never want to block the 1 damage Death Touch guy
right.
because then your guy just dies.
And it's not that bad, right? It's like
But this
But
is
then-
you let it through, you take 1 damage, then get to see your hand.
Yeah, so that's got some cool
Yeah, I like that.
implications. I like it. I know. I like that the looking at the hand was sort of independently arrived at by multiple people.
Archie O's suggestion is a 2 colorless and 2 Dimir. So it's 2 and Dimir, which is the
Blue or black.
the blue-black hybrid mana for a 2/2 creature, which is an Ufe, which
is the actual like creature type of the
kitchen finks,
yes.
which is the only other finks in Magic. So that's a couple people got on the like, oh, it's a fink, we should make it an Ufe, and it has Death Touch and Persist.
All right.
That seems pretty good.
Persist and Death Touch together.
So it's
is
a 2/2.
pretty nasty.
Pretty good.
1/1. Yeah,
So then
no,
you
that's
g-
good.
then
That
you
I
just
think
get-
that's appropriately costed too.
You get 2 kills.
The woodcutters in Shadowmoor soon learnt to avoid certain parts of the forest.
Nice. I like these guys writing
The
their
flavor
own.
text
Yeah.
is really good on
That's
these.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It also
so
shows.
far, I think that one's the best.
I think this next one's my favorite. I mean it's sort of piled with stuff, but I really like this. This is the suggestion from Utilitarian. The Baneful Woodfink. It's a creature. It is also an Ufe, and it's a 2/2 that casts for 2 colorless and green black. So I feel it should be green and black. We were talking about this. It's baneful. That's the black feel. It's a woodfink. It's of the forest. So it's a converted mana cost 4, but it's 2 Golgari, and it has Wither. So when it deals damage in to creatures in the form of -1/-1 counters. It also has Persist. So when it dies, it comes back with a -1/-1 counter. So it's a 1/1. and you can sacrifice a forest to move a -1/-1 counter from Baneful Woodfink to target creature.
Ooh, finishing off anything with wither counters on it.
What's its power toughness again?
2/2. So it's a 2/2, comes back as a 1/1.
1/1.
If it deals damage to a creature and dies, it's put 2 counters on it, and it comes back as a 1/1. And you can sack a forest to move his counter or something else, meaning once you've moved the counter off it, it can die again and come back again with another -1/-1 counter.
Yeah.
So
I guess
the Ufe are eager to help, but who are they really helping?
And like I guess the flavor is that it's like he's sort of a corrupted fairy or something, and so he's damaging things, and then he's hurting the forest to come back to life, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very flavorful card as well, and there's the sort of the -1 counters theme, which I really quite like.
Yeah.
So that was.
All right. Good challenge.
Yeah, you guys did a really good job. We should do that more often.
Yeah.
That was because we did not intend that to happen. You
How
guys in
about-
the forums just thought about it.
Okay, so if we say that one's the winner,
I
don't know what the winner is.
I like that one the best
Yeah.
too.
I like that.
That's my winner.
How about
Yay!
for next time, if you have that as the winner, somebody actually do up that as a card.
Ooh, like someone should illustrate it.
So
chain-
do some.
Well, can
So-
we do that right now? Like chain the contest, like we pick a winner and then make people design a card and then pick a winner from that.
Yeah. And so the first part was like a writing contest, and then this part is
next
kind of an art
project.
contest.
I like this a lot.
And there's
really
Photoshop templates and stuff for cards.
For cards, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and of course, obviously, you could find good art online, or you could draw your own art.
Yeah.
We're not stopping you.
Extra-
We're not telling you it has to be like original.
Extra points will be given for original art, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what do these people win aside from satisfaction?
I don't even know anymore. We'll have to think
Nothing.
about that.
They win nothing.
Nothing.
Then we have to worry about giving them something.
At the moment, nothing.
Maybe in the future.
Utilitarian gets his awesome card turned
into a card.
Yeah.
And the satisfaction of
prize-
a job well done.
The prize for each person will be something that the next contest person will be doing.
Exactly. Nice. All right. We had some deck naming to
Yes.
do.
Yeah, some people we talked about naming people's decks.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Um,
we're actually naming Utilitarian's deck. So
yeah.
We are.
So Yingi, I want to say it's YNGI. Yingi 2.0 had a deck that he described as having an awful lot of black ramp. He posted the deck list in the forums. Pardon me. Posted the deck list, asked us to name it. It had a whole lot of black ramp, like one of every major big scary black creature. And the whole point is just to build up a whole bunch of black mana and then just resolve these horrible
These
demons.
huge dudes.
And I think Paul came up with the suggestion for this one.
be on ramp to hell.
Yes, the on-ramp to hell.
My
Not the highway to
I
hell.
suppose the highway.
It's how you get to the highway.
Yeah.
With the ramp.
Yeah.
if you want to make it something less good, my joking suggestion is big booty bitches. Which is a really terrible song, but
the deck that Utilitarian posted was a white-black deck with a bunch of extort and a bunch of tokens.
Yep.
Being lorded over by Soren. Who
So I think, what did we go for?
you
We
came
went-
up with this one, I think.
Yeah, sort of. This was Soren, godfather of Innistrad.
Yes.
It was trying to fight. Yeah, trying to sort of go with the gangster, the mobster.
Vampires would like you to pay your extortion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the idea of this being is like one of the other ideas we were kicking around for this one was like it would be a shame if something happened to your creatures
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's extort and also creature destruction.
Yeah.
So
Archie O had a deck with a whole lot of Death Touch guys and a Wolf Hunter's Quiver, which he loaded up on the Death Touch guys to kill his opponent's creatures, and then he would like trade off the Death Touch guys on the field, and then he'd bring them back from the graveyard with like unburial rights. It's because it's a junk deck. We tried to come up with a pun on
Junk.
I was like my initial suggestion was just tokens and junk. But the deck is basically called
Junk tokens. So we're
So
just
we actually had to look this up, and this is one that has always confused me because I'm always like, why is the deck called Junk? It's one of those things that it's like Like you hear people talking about deck archetypes, and there's no great reason why this one is called the junk deck. It was originally green white.
Green
or,
white.
I can't remember.
I can't
now.
remember now. Yeah.
Okay. Currently, a junk deck is a green, white, black deck that has just a bunch of good stuff that doesn't necessarily synergize well, but the idea is that you just play a whole bunch of good stuff in those colors, and you're bound to win because your cards are good, not because you have some sort of grand sort of plan with it. The original deck was just 2 of those colors. It was either green black or green white. I think it was green black, and it was called junk because it was just like, look at all this junk I threw together into a deck.
Yeah.
Which is very different from the rock deck,
Correct.
which is black, green, mid-range creatures, which was, I had to look this up. It was originally called the rock deck because it ran Deranged Hermit, which spits out 4 squirrel tokens when he resolves, and the Phyrexian, I can't remember.
Anyhow,
It's the staples of this deck was this big black Phyrexian guy and the Deranged Hermit that makes tons and tons of little guys, and it was actually a wrestling reference. The deck was called The Rock and His Millions,
Oh, nice.
which
All right.
is because The Rock calls his fan the Millions,
Yeah.
and Millions.
Yeah.
And the deck was originally called The Rock and His Millions, and now any green-black mid-range deck is just called the Rock deck.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this like a rock egg, like the rock bird creature, or is it
Yeah.
like a rock because it's solid? And Alex was like, I think it's a rock just because it's solid. And I had to look it up, and no, it's a wrestling reference.
anyhow, what does this have to do with this guy's deck?
It's called Quiver Before Death.
Thank you.
We got there.
Because it's the Wolf Hunter's Quiver and the Death Touch. We're thinking like reach out and Death Touch someone, but that's a little awkward to say. So no, it's the Quiver Before Death.
Yeah.
And then Foxmar made a deck based on our Sphere of Safety, all the enchantments deck. And his plan is just to Sphere of Safety them out so they can't attack him, build up a force, and attack them with is it Odric or Odric?
I always said Odric.
Odric, yeah.
Odric? Okay. With Odric, the Master Tactician. And so we call the deck simply Some Enchanted Tactics.
Aha.
Da, da.
I think I
There
Alternate
should be
title.
there was
one
one
more.
more, but I didn't write it down.
Alternate title. Bracket, literally, and bracket, can't touch this. Dun, 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 dun.
What was the other deck? We named 5.
I know. I'm just trying to find it. The last deck belonged to Conan Itogawa. It was this was another green, white, black tokens deck with Angel of Serenity. Oh, this was the one with like Intangible Virtue and
Oh yeah, what the heck did we name it?
Writing down fail ground.
Lingering Souls, Angel of Serenity, Pack Rats, Wayfaring Temple, Growing Ranks.
What did we name this deck?
I honestly don't remember naming this. I think I was in the bathroom.
Didn't we name this deck, Paul?
I remember
we
thinking
named
about it for a long time.
I thought we named all 5.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We will name it next week rather than you have to sit here and watch us
Yeah.
going
That's weird.
huh.
Are we, you guys,
Yeah, we can start cracking some boxes here.
But we will get back to that deck.
Yep. Don't worry, we'll come up with a name for it.
Phyrexian Plague Lord was the rock.
Okay. All right, so me and Graham both have a fat pack here.
Yay, Gatecrash.
Gatecrash came out today. We're recording this on release day.
I don't
James,
think
can I have all your basic land?
So, yes, you can. So if you've never seen a fat pack before, it's a very lovely product that Wizards puts out. You get a book, which you've seen probably on the table for the last little while.
It should be mentioned we're not being paid to say this.
No, we're not. But a book with the whole list of what the heck?
What was that?
There's an insert
Was it like
in
a
the
checklist?
checklist.
Is it because they forgot to
They
print
must have
something?
forgotten something. That's a good way of dealing with it. Like if
Sweet.
you have to.
So
for
anyway,
that,
it's a full catalog of every card.
for that deck list, for Conan Itogawa, the last one I remember for that because it's a green black or green white black token deck. Green white is of course Celis Naya, which creates a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
tokens.
that's right. You said Sellers
then-
Naya no, didn't you?
Sellers Nope.
Sellers Nope.
Sellers
yeah.
Nope.
That's what we call
Sellers
it.
Nope. Because it's Sellers Naya and also black. Because it's Sellers Naya with Pack Rat,
So
which is Nope.
you get 9
So there you
booster
go.
packs of Gatecrash. You get a pack of
Sweet basic
80
land.
land. You get a 20-sided countdown die. I got the blue one.
I got the Simic one.
And you have
Oh, you got the Demir one.
yeah, sorry, Demir. And you get 2 cardboard boxes to put your cards in. You know, snazzy stuff like that.
I said this on the way out of the card store. I don't think it's any, especially considering that the third set is called Dragon's Maze, I don't think it's any coincidence that the packaging for Return to Ravnica is blue and the packaging for Gatecrash is red, i.e. the 2 colors of the Is It.
And the aforementioned dragon.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna crack a pack and we're gonna duel, but we're not gonna like do a pack war. We're just gonna duel and compare cards.
All right.
So I think
Are
like
you comparing? Are you going to compare, like the first card, who wins this first card?
Yes.
Second card, who wins the second?
yeah,
card?
let's do that.
Yeah.
All right.
That makes sense.
All right. So
So this is like the. It's the.
Who
like
is it?
when you draw the card to see who goes first
Yeah.
Yeah.
and evaluated by what's the most playable.
Yeah.
all right. So your card is
Night Watch.
my card, Leyline Phantom.
Night Watch.
I like Night Watch better here. I'm
Leyline
not just saying that.
Phantom
Not
is
just saying that because
very-
it's
Yeah.
mine.
No, Leyline Phantom is good, but it has very specific
All right.
circumstances which make it good,
What-
otherwise
How do you
not
spell
good.
Leyline?
Leyline.
Leyline Phantom is the limited resources preview card. It's 5/5 for 4 and a blue, but whenever it deals combat damage, return it to its owner's hand. So it does deal that combat damage, and it can't die in combat.
Yeah.
So it can take something with it, but it's 5 to come down. Still 5/5. But then the Night Watch we talked about earlier, it's the 4 and a white for the 2 white vigilance token.
Also, if you have any enter the battlefield effects, then that guy's nasty.
Yeah.
All right. What's your second one?
My second one. So Graham, 1, me nothing. Aerial maneuver. For 1 and a white, I get target creature gains +1/+1 and flying and first strike.
This is
until
going to
end
be
of
close
turn.
because mine's also not great. It's a Gutter Skulk, which is a 2/2 for 1 and a black.
It's a bear.
Okay, so
Well,
I like this card actually as a
combat trick?
As a
It's
combat
a
trick,
bear-sized
good.
rat.
Like it's fine. I think
It is actually. Look at it. Look at it compared to the skeleton in the card. It is a bear-sized rat.
I think
I think
probably
you've got this one probably.
I don't know actually. I think so.
I think I want to give it to Aerial Maneuver. I think.
All right,
It's a maneuver. All
All
right,
right.
next.
All right, hold on.
it is 1/1.
All right. Disciple of the Old Ways.
Wait 1 second. To keep things straight, I'm gonna go
All
like
right.
this. Winning cards are face up. Losing cards are
Okay.
face down.
All right.
Disciple of the Old Ways. It is a 2/2 for 1 and a green with an activated ability of 1 red to give it first strike until end of turn.
All right, I have. Sorry, something in my throat. The Basilica Screecher. He is a 1/2 flying with extort for 1 and a black. I'm gonna go with my guy.
I'm gonna go with James's guy too. The extort gives him long-term value, and there's a lot of
True.
small
I think
one,
the
one things.
disciple. I think the disciple affects the board more when it lands. But the Basilica Screecher is probably better.
Well, the thing is, there's a lot of small flyers in this format that the Basilica Screecher can still profitably block as well.
The Disciple of the Old Ways is one of the, as Kathleen said, one of the like smoking hot gruel chicks.
Yeah, like Gruul is consistently beasts, and like hot ladies.
All right,
All right, what you got now?
I have a Shamble Shark.
Oh, I can't, how can I ever compete
Shamble
with a
Shark.
Shamble Shark?
I think that beats
Is
everything
a
automatically.
2/1 for a green and a blue with flash, and it has evolve. This
Like-
card's pretty good.
2/1 flash for 2 is fine.
Yeah.
and evolve just makes it even better.
Yeah.
I have a Death Cult rogue though.
It's the 2 parts of this that I think make it so much better is that it's a hammerhead shark and that he's kind of fat.
Yeah.
Somehow a fat shark is much funnier.
See,
Which
the
card's
thing is-
better?
The,
So
the
what's
Death
our-
Cult Rogue, I know it says it can't be blocked except by rogues. That essentially means it's unblockable.
There's not that many rogues.
No.
And it's not like you're going to bring one into block.
I don't know which one's better.
Yeah, unless you're doing the mirror match.
Personally, I mean, like,
I think it might be the rogue.
I think it might be the rogue.
Yeah.
It's a little easier to cast.
Well, yeah. Because the rogue can
And
go
can
into
and
Simic.
the evasion is probably better than the evolve. Okay, let's just give it to the rogue. I
Okay.
think it's going
All
to
right.
the rogue. All right.
Can you step, James, to a pit fight?
No, I can't because I have a Shattering Blow.
Oh, no question.
So
Pit
fight wins.
Greater than Shattering Blow. Instant speed fight, definitely better than Exile and Artifact.
All right. I have an Assault Griffin.
Which is better
Which
than
is better than?
a Naturalize.
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
Naturalize, we all know what that does. Destroy artifact or enchantment. It's great in the sideboard, but yeah.
The Assault Griffin, for anybody who's wondering, is a 3/2 flyer for 3 colorless and a white. Just a fine card. Like, nothing wrong with that card. All right.
Now I have a 2/1
Ugh.
that prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to it and creatures blocking it for 3 colorless.
You still win.
The Armored Transport. Really?
I have a staff. I don't like this card.
I don't like this Skyblinder staff either. So the Skyblinder staff is 1 to cast, 3 to equip, and the equipped creature gets +1/+0 and can't be blocked by creatures with flying.
Yeah, no, thank you.
If it could only be blocked by creatures with flying, that'd be a lot better.
Yeah.
Because most creatures don't have the
he
flying.
blinds.
Yeah.
Scott.
Yeah, I don't know. I think both of those cards are bad. I'm gonna say neither of them win.
Neither win. All right.
No.
All right,
That's
we'll
fair.
Just flip them both over.
All
All
right.
right. Yeah. James, where are we? Where are we?
What?
Where are we?
I don't-
I'm
what?
totally lost.
Oh, God. Okay, so I like that card, actually.
I love Totally Lost.
I
Also,
have
excellent art.
a Skin Brand Goblin,
It's probably better.
which I think is better because it's...
It's a piker with upside.
Yeah, it's a 2/1 for 2, 1 in a red, and it has Blood Rush.
Well,
and
it's not actually a piker with upside because the upside only happens if you
happens-
don't
yeah,
cast him as
don't
a
cast
piker.
it. So his Blood Rush costs 1 red, and it gets +2/+1 until end of turn.
That's probably the best.
I
part
think
of
that's
him.
better, and I think that's better than You're Totally Lost.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Much as I love Flubble.
All right.
All right, you
I
guys are
have-
tied at 4 wins apiece. No. James has 4. Graham has 3.
Yeah.
Yep. I have Last Thoughts. I think you're going to win because this is a 3 colorless and a blue for a sorcery. Draw a card, and it has Cipher. Not so good.
Depends on how highly you value a Boros Guildgate.
I would take a Boris Guildgate
I think I would
before
take a
Guildgate
Guildgate over than I take Last Thoughts. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Fair enough.
Cypher's bad.
All right.
Now it is I who has the Assault Griffin.
And it is I who have a Guildgate. You win.
All right.
I think. I would rather an Assault Griffin over.
I'd rather a 3/2 flyer than a. Was that a Gruul Guildgate?
Yes.
Not as fun to say as Golgari Guildgate.
No. All right.
All right, hold on.
We're wrangling the cards a little bit to make some more room here.
Okay, what do you have now?
I have how do you Zamek Guild Mage?
Ooh.
Oh wow.
He's a very
So-
good guild mage.
Oh, he's
Probably
really
one of the
nice.
stronger
This
ones.
is the Simic one.
Yeah, the Simic Guild Mage. So as all Guild Mages, it casts for a green and a blue. I mean, they all cast for that. Each of their colors. He's a 2/2, and for a green and a blue, this turn each creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. Seems good. And for a green and a blue, remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature you control to draw a card. That
Yeah,
seems
that's
really
really
good.
good.
Can you
Yeah.
step to the Guild Mage?
Not with the Call of the Nightwing.
No.
No, you cannot.
Like
No.
I think all the Nightwing's neat, and
It's neat.
just because I looked at the rules card in the pack. This pack actually has the 1/1 flying horror token for Call of the Nightwing.
Ooh,
So you know
alright.
flavor combo, but
Yeah, but
no,
no.
you win that.
Did they explain why the Simic Guild Mage is not called Simic Guild Mage?
Well, none of the guild mages are called
Why?
because there is a Simic guild mage from
the
original
first-
Ravnica block.
Oh, okay.
All the guild mages have different names. Like the Golgari one is the Korozda guild mage,
Yeah.
and the Rakdos one is the Rixmadi.
Yeah.
It's the place they're from rather than the guild that they
Right.
belong
It's
to.
just confusing.
I know.
Yeah. All right, Graham. You put down your next card because I'm going to kill it because I'm going to win.
I agree because I have a Crackling Perimeter.
Oh, yeah.
So the Crackling Perimeter is it's an enchantment for 1 and a red. Tap an untapped gate you control. Crackling Perimeter deals 1 damage to each opponent. I think that's neat,
Yeah, but not very good.
but not nearly as good as
Killing Glare, which is one of the just sick prime removal spells in this thing. For 1 black and X, destroy target creature with power X or less. That's pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not even looking at my rare yet. I'm,
All right, hold
I'm
on,
putting
hold
down
on. The score is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for James, and 1, 2,
Five.
3, 4, 5 for Graham. So Graham, you could tie this up.
I could.
All right.
Now, luckily, I have a Simic Charm.
Oh, which
That
is
is
a really.
much better than my card. What does your
All right.
card do?
The Simic Charm
What doesn't it do?
is an instant for a green and a blue. And you can choose one of these things. You can either give a target creature +3/+3 until end of turn.
That's giant growth.
Everyone loves a giant growth. Or permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn.
Okay, sure.
Just can't remove my guys. Or return target creature to its owner's hand.
Unsummon what?
Yep.
Sorry, I'm being your flavor text.
I like it. You're the
I'm your hype man.
the hype man. Thank you.
It's I think the limited resources review, they were talking about how it's a little weird because both returning a creature to its owner's hand and creature gaining hexproof is kind of covered by +3/+3.
Yeah.
Like if your creature is gonna die, you can just give it +3/+3 instead of giving it hexproof.
Yeah.
Or if the other guy's gonna like try and kill you with his thing, you can give your guy +3/+3.
This is permanence you control. So, like, if somebody is like trying to kill your planeswalker,
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously
Right.
stuff, but I think the vast majority of the time we're going to be using
All
it
right,
for the
you
first
ready for
one.
mine?
What do you have that's not nearly as good as Simic Charm?
The Undercity Informer, which casts for 2 and a black and gets you a 2/3. And for 1, sacrifice a creature. Target player reveals cards from the top of his or her library until he or she reveals a land card, then puts those cards into his or her graveyard. That's not as good as
that is
Simic
just
Charm.
another example of how mixed
Grind.
up Dimir is. Because it is a guild that does not want to sacrifice creatures. It is a guild that wants to make tiny creatures that can attack. And yet this guy is asking you to sacrifice to mill? What is going on?
All right, so
if you do mill,
here.
All right.
you
rare
need your
times.
blockers.
So here's my concern.
Okay.
You have 2 cards in your hands left.
Oh, do you not?
No, because you have a.
No.
Oh, yeah,
I
you
took
do.
I took the.
Oh, you took the. Oh, you took that. Okay, I thought you might have a foil.
No.
Okay.
I think we just have a land.
All right, so that's just a land. All
I
right,
think.
so this is no, because you didn't take the land.
Yeah, it's a land. All right.
Your forest.
I'm
Plains. All right.
All right.
All
So
right.
this is.
Wow, this has actually worked out really well.
Is it a
It's
tie
all
right
tied
now?
up, yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Graham has 1, 2, 3,
No,
4, 5, 6.
I have 7,
James has 1,
Oh, no.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6.
Ooh,
All right, it comes
this
down
is
to this.
for all the beans.
What do you got?
All right. I have.
God, I hope we have the same rare.
Mine's okay. It is the High Priest of Penance.
Ooh.
He is a 1/1
I like this card a lot,
for a white
actually.
and a black. Whenever he is dealt damage, you get to Vindicate, which is to say you get to destroy target non-land permanent.
I love this guy.
So he needs to be removed by non-damage removal, or else you get a free Vindicate out of him.
Yeah. He's the one that nobody will ever block.
He really stops people from wanting to attack you.
Yeah, you throw like some buffing enchantment spell on there, and then
Yeah.
it gets in.
So I have unexpected results.
Ooh.
Unexpected results cast for 2, a green and a blue. It is a sorcery. When you cast it, you shuffle your library, then reveal the top card. If it's a non-land card, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. If it is a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield and return unexpected results to its owner's hand. I don't really know.
So what that does is you shuffle your deck, then you reveal the top card, and
And regardless, you're
and
getting this card, basically. Well,
you
no.
get to, and if it is a card that isn't a land, you get to just play it for free.
Yep.
And good job. And if you, I guess, whiff, you get a free land, and you get to cast that again and try a
Yes.
second time.
I think that card's good.
But,
I don't
the
know.
The problem is,
Probably.
though, if the card that you end up casting costs less than 4, then you just wasted mana. Right?
Good point.
Like, it only, to me... it
Or
only,
if you get
to
something that doesn't have a valid target.
Like, to me, unexpected results only works if the curve in your deck is super high, so that your average mana cost is going to be pretty high. Like, if you're in... Which I guess in Simic is more common.
Actually, other creatures are pretty cheap.
But, like, it just seems like if your deck is mostly, like, 2 and 3 drops...
I don't like that card because what happens if if it's an instant or a sorcery? What if you don't want to play those, right? Like, it's good for getting creatures out of your deck, but like I wouldn't want to be like, oh, it's my totally lost, right?
Yeah, like if it's a combat trick or something, then you're just...
Then you're like definitely down. I think.
It's the whole aspect of it being...
I mean,
totally
it is called
random.
unexpected results. I mean,
It's got a high potential upside, but a pretty weird potential meh side.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
potential upside is you get like the
You get like your 6 or 7 mana guy
yeah,
out for.
Borbor Egos.
So I've resorted to checking with a professional
Okay.
to see which of these cards wins.
oh right, because
I'm-
Marshall's already done his.
No, I'm not leaving. I'm leaving this up to LSV
Oh.
because it's printed. I don't know how to check the
Oh,
rare
I see.
review.
Right.
You're just looking at his card.
I'm looking at
reviews?
his card evaluations.
Oh, I thought you were texting Marshall.
No. So, unexpected results, he gave a 2
Out
Okay.
out of a possible 5.
of okay.
His review. This is much like stolen goods, but with one important distinction. It can hit lands, at which point you're up a card. Granted, sometimes you need to hit anything to survive, but most games you won't be that unhappy if you pick up a land or two on the way. So, it's
Alright.
not the worst. I don't... has he done black and...
Pretty sure.
I think he has.
I'm pretty sure he's done Orzhov.
He's done black, but doesn't say...
During his set reviews this time, he rates the cards for constructed, he rates the cards for limited, and then Raptor rates his puns.
Yeah.
Because LSV makes a lot of puns.
Although, I feel like... okay, I don't think he actually has done Orzhov, so I don't know.
No.
I thought he had.
He's done black. He's done... Yeah, he is not. I don't think so.
No?
So... I don't know.
The world may never know.
We'll have to get back to you on this one.
Who wins this
I feel
epic
like it
pack
might
off?
actually be the results, but like
I mean, okay. From a realistic point of view,
All right.
High Priest of Penance.
Here in Gatherer,
Unexpected Results.
Unexpected Results has a 3.344 out of 5
rating.
community rating. Okay.
Okay. And the High Priest of Penance.
Yeah,
has
he
a
has.
3.831 community rating. So High
Has he?
Priest of Penance
Yeah, he has done Orzhov.
Oh,
is
Yeah.
considered better by the community and Gatherer.
here's my argument for unexpected results. I don't know what LSV is going to say because I haven't read his thing yet. But the High Priest of Penance is a 1/1 for 2. He is still getting in there. You don't want to block that guy, but he is so low impact that he's not doing a lot of work for you. Unless, I mean, he barely blocked anything profitably either. So basically he's just an attack thing you don't want to block. But unless you aura him up or do something to make him bigger, he is still not doing much work. And at that point, maybe they're willing to take, maybe they are willing to just block it and trade off. And sure, maybe they lose their blocker and you destroy one of their non-land permanents. But if they don't have anything good, they're 2 for 2ing you, right? You have to put a lot of resources into making him good.
All right, what does he say?
Were you looking at the limited rating?
Yes.
Okay. Limited rating for this, he gave a 3.5.
Okay.
Not only does this give you the option of killing whatever it killed, you are allowed to assign the penance to anything the opponent controls. This makes it significantly more than just a 1/1 death touch, and 1/1 death touch is already quite good.
All right.
Nice.
There we go. The man has spoken.
What if they don't have anything good, though?
All right.
Well, then they'll have something.
I propose a lightning round.
Okay.
Crack another pack.
Okay.
Pick your best card and see who wins.
All right, and then we'll sign off for today.
And then we'll sign
All
off for
right.
today.
All right. Shuffle, 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 shuffle.
Choose wisely.
I have another Shamble Shark.
Shamble Shark beats all.
Let me see.
This is good radio.
This isn't good video either.
This pack is terrible.
Yeah, mine's not that great either.
I don't even know what I want to actually pick.
You have to choose. This is like you're choosing your champion.
Is
choosing
5
your
Alarm
avatar.
Fire any good?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I played it at the pre-release. It's really strong.
Yeah. 5 Alarm Fire seems to be my pick.
Any combat
I also have a
damage.
Boros Elite, which is actually not super bad.
So I decided to go with
Choose one, James.
the... Yeah, so was your pick?
My pick is the 5 Alarm Fire.
Yeah, so 5 Alarm Fire, it's an enchantment for 1 red. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage,
That's any sort of damage.
period,
Yep.
put a counter on it, take 5 counters off to deal 5 damage to creature or player. It's important that you expect things like this to be whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player.
Yes.
It is not the case. It is any combat damage.
So it can build
Making
up really
it
fast.
significantly
So
better.
I did this a lot. I swung in with 4 guys, and he'd be like, all right, I blocked 2 of them. And I'm like, cool, that's 4 counters on my 5 Alarm Fire.
Yeah.
What I also think is important, it does not say sacrifice 5 Alarm Fire
No,
to
Yeah,
deal 5
you can
damage.
just keep doing it.
Keep going.
It makes it slightly better than a Shrine of Burning Rage,
All right,
in
what do
my
you got?
opinion.
Well,
So do you have anything better than 5 Alarm Fire?
I don't know. My rare is the Diluvian Primordial, but I don't know about that. Like it's like a It's kind of like a spell twine. I mean, you get a 5/5 flyer, but it costs 7 to come down. I'm gonna go with one that was a real annoyance for me when playing, which is the Urbis Protector. He's a 1/1 for 6.
Sweet.
But he comes with a 4/4 white flying angel token.
Right.
And boy, when that guy came down, it was really difficult to deal with because even if you kill the 1/1, you still have this 4/4 angel.
Yep.
Which is a big thing.
And this thing with like blinking abilities seems pretty good.
So like it's either
Think about this with Populate.
it's one of these 6 drops actually. It's the Urbis Protector or the Smog Elemental.
I don't like the Smog Elemental. That's the one that gives -2/-2 to creatures with flying.
-1/-1.
-1/-1
To your opponent's creatures with flying, but it itself is a 3/3 flyer.
for 6, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem super good.
No.
It means they can never attack with their daring Skyjack
Yes, it's true.
with Battalion. 'Cause
Yeah,
as soon as he
because
gains flying, he
he
just
just
dies
dies,
immediately.
All right.
All right. So what do we?
By the way, I
5
just
alarm
wanna-
fire.
5 alarm fire.
I
I
think
just
so.
want to point
I
out
like
when I
5
said I
alarm fire.
think 5 alarm fire is a little better than Shrine of Burning Rage in that regard. In limited, like if you're drafting, not in constructed. Shrine of Burning Rage is sick in construction.
Sick.
But like in like a commander deck or something. But if you're drafting it, like you're never gonna get like 17 counters on it like you're doing.
All right. So that is
our podcast.
tap concede.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
was
So
fun.
as you may have guessed, today is actually the release of Gatecrash, which is why all the booster packs and stuff. But
We got lots of cards.
so we had extra special Cracker Pack today.
Yep.
We probably won't be doing that in the future.
No. I think
except
next
for maybe
time.
the next set that comes
I think
out.
next time we were talking earlier. Next time we want to talk about Commander,
Yep.
because we all love and play Commander, and we'll not only talk about that and sort of what we play, but also looking at some of the cards in Gatecrash that are good for Commander, because all these primordials, for example.
There are definitely cards in Gatecrash that have clearly been designed that they matter a lot more in multiplayer formats.
Yeah.
And we're gonna look at them with our Commander experience to see, are they good? Do you want this in your Commander deck?
Like all the extort cards, for instance.
Yeah.
I think Extort just gets its own category.
And in the thread for this podcast, if you want to put your ideas for what that wood fink is going to look
Baneful
like.
Woodfink should
Yeah,
look like.
Baneful wood fink. You've got the actual text that should be on the card is in the previous thread, although I guess we can repost it.
Yeah.
So we will actually make the card this time. So I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And I guess we could also name some more decks if people enjoyed that. If we start getting like overwhelmed with 50 different decks we have to name, we may not be able to do them all, but we will try to do what we can.
We'll pick and choose.
Yeah, if we can come up with good names, we'll do them.
Yep.
So
right.
thanks
guys.
for hanging out with us.
Thank you guys for listening. We're gonna scoop it up.